Well, do we need to wait?
Yeah, we need to wait for
We need to. Y'all don't even know the words.
No bad.
All right, so that was Martin Luther King III leading that march. Again, that was Martin Luther King III leading the first wave. If you missed him after this live is over, just go ahead and hit that replay button. But I'm trying to give you this action live so you can experience. So now here comes the second wave of marchers. Delta Sigma Theta sorority.
Give us some space.
Sorry.
Okay, we have a step ladder, so you tell me. My name is Regina Bauer. No. Come on, y'all.
With due respect.
Who was that? John who?
Lewis.
Okay. Thank you. Again, that was John Lewis. So there's a lot of important people here from all over. And I'm just trying to catch up with them all so I can give you that live experience. And if you can hear the distant chant in the background as the marchers chant about freedom, unity, togetherness as they cross the bridge. They're chanting about freedom, unity. So now we're just kind of waiting for the next wave of marchers to come through. They're coming in waves. So we had two waves go by first. We have Martin Luther King the third start the first one, and then that crowd over there, they're standing around John Lewis. My sources have told me that all of the Democrat presidential candidates are here except for one. So the march started at 2:30. It started with Martin Luther King III. So while we're waiting for the next wave of people, I'm gonna walk down here. walking over this bridge, I'm getting chills just knowing the history behind it. I'm standing right here in the middle of the bridge on the Selma side. So it looks like the police were trying to clear the crowd from the street as we wait for more marchers to come down and cross the bridge.
He's going to get out and meet the walkers when they come, the delegates, I think. When they come, he's going to get out of the car and get out and say a few words.
Okay, so we just got to be quick after the candidates come.
Is this them?
I hope they're all coming together. I can't make this point.
Right. Yeah, that was crazy. They're chanting, ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of people don't stop.
Was running.
Okay. Thank you. All right. I'm in the
It's just mine, waiting on Mike. Warren, Mike, Pete. Is Pete walking?
organized chaos today.
Last time I checked, that could have changed, but before I left.
All right, well, I'm here live from the bridge. Like I said, the march is just going on in waves. Presidential candidates are expected to either walk the bridge or drive through the bridge. So we're just kind of just standing here and waiting and experiencing this moment with everyone else here today. There's chants going on, one people, one nation. So, if you're not familiar with Bloody Sunday was when Martin Luther King and his followers marched this very bridge to Montgomery, Alabama to protest, a nonviolent protest, so the black voters could vote. So every year they commemorate what they endured because they were met at the end of this bridge by white lawmen, white policemen who beat them, who sprayed them with tear gas, treated them like animals, all because they did not want them to have the right to vote. 2 weeks after that, the Voters' Right Act passed because of what Martin Luther King Jr. and his followers did when they marched to Montgomery. And because of his sacrifice, their sacrifice, Black Americans, African Americans, citizens of the United States of America of color are able to vote. And I recommend for those of you guys who aren't familiar with the story, watch the movie Selma. It can kind of sum up the reason why people are here today. It's a very good movie. It came out in 2014. It's called Selma. It'll take you through the historic steps in the path that Martin Luther King went through. So we got people standing on both sides of the bridge. From what I've been told, they're kind of doing like a reverse march. They have taken some of the candidates to the other side of the bridge. Then they're gonna march coming back down. So I'm just kind of hanging out in the middle because I don't want you guys to miss anything. I want you to be a part of this experience since you can't physically be here yourself. And again, this is made possible by the Martin Luther King Jr. Commission out of Little Rock.
Who is controlling this speaking program?
They have a group of young people from Southeast Arkansas that they are exposing to their history.
Oops, sorry.
I'm trying to get out of everybody's picture. Everybody's trying to capture this moment and take pictures. I'm just trying to get out the way. And so it's very important that you exercise your right to vote. Super Tuesday is coming up. And you may think your vote doesn't matter, but every vote matters. It's just a sea of people. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Just a sea of people, a rainbow of people coming together in this moment. Now, if you haven't had the opportunity, make sure after this live is ended, you go back down our feed, our timeline, and look at the videos. We've been here all weekend. We visited the Legacy Museum. Due to the sensitivity of the history that was presented in that museum, there were no videos or cameras allowed inside, but I did speak to some of the young people and some of the commissioners here to get their perspective of what they experienced. We also went to the Memorial Garden, which honored blacks who were lynched because of the color of their skin. And these weren't slaves, these were just blacks who, if you talked to a white woman the wrong way, if you looked at a white woman the wrong way, you were lynched. If you go down our timeline, I'll put those pictures on our timeline. Every county was represented. Arkansas County, Phillips County, Jefferson County, Pulaski County, and the names of those that sacrificed their life in this lynching were named on those tombs. And I'll post those pictures, so just make sure that you like Pine Bluff Commercial, share, follow. That way, when we get all this information on our timeline, you will be able to experience what we experience here in Selma, Alabama, and Montgomery. What's so beautiful about this moment, I mean, every color is represented here today. Unity, togetherness. Even though the history was such an ugly experience, it's the truth. And the history of what happened has to be acknowledged in order for us to move forward together as one. So hey Monica, thank you for joining us. So if you're not familiar with Bloody Sunday commemorates, what they're doing today is commemorating Bloody Sunday when Martin Luther King Jr. and his followers marched across this bridge in Selma, Alabama, so blacks could have the right to vote. On that day, they were met at the end of the bridge by white policemen, white state troopers who beat them, terrorized them. They beat them with billy clubs, they sprayed them with tear gas, and it was just a horrific scene, a horrific nightmare, which was broadcast all over the United States of America. 2 weeks after that, the Voters' Rights Act was passed, which allowed blacks to vote. So now every year in Selma, Alabama, thousands of people get together to commemorate what Martin Luther King and his followers endured for blacks to vote. Bloody Sunday. There has been presidential candidates here. It looks like a movement is coming right now. So I'm gonna stop talking so y'all can just enjoy the moment. $5 at the Dollar Tree. Or at the Dollar General, $5. Raise your signs up. Let me see your signs. Let me see your signs. Thank you. That in the sea of crowd with the American flags behind them, but it does look like some type of motorcade. I know we just have some presidential candidates here who are going to either march started the first wave of marchers. Such a surreal moment to see that and witness that. We did catch it on Facebook Live, so if you didn't miss it, make sure you go back and re-watch. And this view is amazing, just to see all those people. Amazing. And we have people on both sides of the bridge. I believe this is Jesse Jackson. Yes, it is. Jesse Jackson. Yep, Jesse Jackson, everybody. Jesse Jackson. Very prominent man, Jesse Jackson, just passes by. So somebody else is coming because they're surrounded by a crowd of media. And I'm just gonna stand here with my selfie stick and bring you all the action without being in the crowd. So let's see who we have coming. Who is this coming? Who is this coming? Oh, Al Sharpton, everybody. Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton, everybody. Al Sharpton. He's being Al Sharpton, everybody. Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton. Y'all, I got the best seat in the house. Al Sharpton, everybody. Up, hearts, likes, something, just so I know that you guys can still hear me. If you guys can hear me, can I hear get a yes? Type yes for me if you guys can hear me. Thank you very much. My microphone had got ripped out my pocket and I noticed it and it was off. So I just want to make sure you guys could hear me. Did you guys hear that we had Jesse Jackson come through and Al Sharpton? I know you guys were able to see them. Just joining us, we are here live in Selma at the Edmund Pettus Bridge. I didn't have time to type the description, but Martin Luther King marched this very same bridge, and all these people here are commemorating Bloody Sunday, where Martin Luther King and his followers marched this bridge from Selma to Montgomery so blacks could have the right to vote. They were met at the end of the bridge with white lawmen and white policemen who beat them, tortured them, sprayed them with tear gas because they did not want them to vote. That horrific scene was shown all over the United States. 2 weeks after that, Martin Luther King and his followers marched to Montgomery, Alabama, where he delivered the speech. And because of that, the Voters' Rights Act was passed, which allowed blacks to vote. So every year, hey! So this is Arkansas representing. Arkansas representing. All right. That's the Martin Luther King Jr. Commission. That is who we are traveling with, the Palm Bluff Commercial. And they are here representing for Arkansas. There's some more of our delegates from Arkansas representing. We have a lot of our Southeast Arkansas young people here to experience this. Because what Martin Luther King did for us, it's very important that you don't take advantage of that and you exercise your right to vote. You may think your vote doesn't matter, but it does. So please use that right and go out Tuesday and vote. I'm gonna turn around so you can really see the effect as they go over the bridge. The same bridge that Martin Luther King Jr. went over with his followers, hand in hand, arm in arm. People from all ages are here, all colors are represented here today in this historic march. And I'm just basking in the middle of it all.
Ain't gonna let nobody. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking. I'm walking up to freedom's land.
All right, let's go, let's march. Thousands of people are here. If I could guess, I'm not even going to guess. You see it with your own eyes. So because Martin Luther King marched, it allows the black voters the right to use their voice and vote. Because during that time, they were treated like animals because they didn't want the blacks to vote. But Martin Luther King and his followers endured pain, suffering. They were beat with billy clubs by police officers and local troopers. They were sprayed with tear gas. His marchers included women and men, children, black women, black men, black children who were beat, sprayed with tear gas, all because the white people did not want them to vote. So Martin Luther King Jr.'s sacrifice has allowed all these people, all these black people that you see here today, the right to vote. And they come here to commemorate the steps he made so they can make future steps. Walking arm in arm, hand in hand, the way they marched then, because there were so many people. Can you duck down just a little bit? So, yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you. You got that pretty hair all in the picture. Thank you.
Did you get a picture of the bridge?
So I'm just standing right in the middle on the medium adjacent to the bridge, just in a sea of people as they march to commemorate Bloody Sunday. So now they are chanting about changing the name of the bridge to John Lewis. Sources say that this bridge was named after one of the lawmen who was against black people voting. And they want the name of the bridge to be changed. They were chanting John. Yes. Which side she want to go on? Okay. There you go. And again, the most important message here is vote. Vote, vote, vote. Doesn't matter who you are, what color you are, if you have that right, exercise it and vote. Super Tuesday is coming up. Don't let your voice go unheard by not going to those polls. So I'm going to turn around again so you can just see the sea of people going over the bridge. They are commemorating what Martin Luther King Jr. and his followers did when they walked arm in arm, a sea of colored people, to Montgomery. They travel approximately 50 miles over a 4-day period. They camped out. And let me remind you, back then, they didn't have comfortable tennis shoes. They didn't have Jordans and Nikes. They marched in church shoes, high heels, their Sunday best. 4 days, four days. All for blacks to be able to vote. You need to go around me. Okay, there you go. All colors are represented here today, and it's such a beautiful thing to see everybody walk hand in hand, arm in arm, in harmony. Something that Martin Luther King died for. I mean, we all are familiar with his "I Have a Dream" speech. But this is about another speech. This is about a speech he made in Montgomery so blacks could have the right to vote. People from all over the nation come down for this historic moment. And every 5 years, they actually have people who come and walk the actual 50-mile plus walk from Selma to Alabama. Highway 80 is the historic highway of that trail. We drove that trail while here. I'll be putting together some videos and stuff for you guys to kind of see and go through that journey while we were here. But we drove that trail. And just to imagine them walking, thousands of people walking that trail, some of them in their church shoes, high heels, and when their feet hurt, they took them off. So just imagine them walking barefoot over 4 days. All so the people standing here today would be able to vote. If you didn't catch our broadcast from the beginning, we did see some prominent figures. We did see some candidates here today. Al Sharpton was here. Jesse Jackson was here. And we are here representing Arkansas. We're here with the Martin Luther King Commission out of Little Rock. We have some young people with us representing Southeast Arkansas. They were brought here so they could learn their history and get that experience of what this event symbolized. We have some that are from McGee, Palm Bluff, Little Rock. I'm just all over Southeast Arkansas with us today with the Martin Luther King Jr. Commission out of Little Rock, Arkansas. As I stand here in the middle of the sea of people, it's just a surreal feeling to be a part of this. So the Voting Rights Act was passed because of what the ancestors endured on Bloody Sunday, which we commemorate today. So if you're watching, go ahead and comment and tell me, you know, how this event is making you feel. I would like some feedback, you know, if you have any experience. Maybe you were a foot soldier, somebody who's watching, maybe somebody in your family, you know. Go ahead and share in the comments below. I would love to hear some of the stories. We did run into some original foot soldiers today. And I was able to visit with some of them. I'll have all that written up, so I'm sure it will be published in the newspaper. But yeah, just a historic moment. Some of the people who marched this bridge are still alive and well and able to tell the story of what happened on Bloody Sunday. I talked to one of the foot soldiers who was in the church when one of the protesters was shot. So we'll have all that for you guys to just really absorb, and the Pine Bluff Commercial newspaper online on the Pine Bluff Commercial website. So if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. You don't want to miss any of this. Yes, this is awesome. That's why, you know, I just wanted to stand here and bring you this experience live. You know, just in a sea of people. Since you couldn't be here physically, I wanted to stand for you. So again, if anybody has any stories that they want to share, go ahead. You want to come by? Oh, okay. That you want to share? Share them in the comments below. Share your story. We have to know our history in order to move forward to the future. One of the commissioners here, she spoke about her great-grandmother. Her great-grandmother is Caucasian, and her great-grandfather is black. And she was telling us how, because they wanted to get married, and that was a big no-no, and he could have got lynched for that. But he was fortunate enough that his wife now hid them out in the woods so nobody would find them. And so when we went to go visit the Legacy Museum in the Memorial Garden, she talked about how that could have been them. And that video is actually posted on our feed, on our timeline. So once this live ends, go back and watch it. Very moving story. And those are the stories we want to hear. Those are the stories we want to tell. We want to know about our history. We want to hear these stories because these stories aren't taught in school. You know, they're not in our history books. And we don't want the history to die. So share those stories with us. You can comment below. You can inbox us. But please share. And I'm going to keep you on live until my battery goes dead. Because what they do, they march down to the end of the bridge. And then they come back and they celebrate like in a street festival. Yeah, I know I'm taller than you, so you can't see anything.
I don't know how y'all got up there.
So when they march back, I'll interview some people just to see how walking across this bridge made them feel, you know, what they were thinking about as they took these very same steps that Martin Luther King Jr. took. Hi, Tim. Thank you for joining us. So, again, I didn't have time to put all the description in the title before I went live, but if you're not familiar with Bloody Sunday, what they're commemorating today is Bloody Sunday. Martin Luther King Jr. and his followers marched this bridge from Selma, Alabama, to Montgomery, so blacks could have the right to vote. When they got to the end of the bridge, they were met by white police officers, white state troopers who beat them, who terrorized them, sprayed them with tear gas, all because they did not want them to vote. But this was broadcast all over the United States. So the whole world saw Martin Luther King and his followers beat and treated like animals. a very inhuman event that happened on the other side of this bridge. So 2 weeks after that, though, they marched to Montgomery. It was over a 50-mile march. And remind you, they weren't walking in Nike tennis shoes and Air Jordans. They were walking in church shoes, high heels, their Sunday bests, over 4 days to get there. And because of that march, the Voters' Right Act was passed. And so it's just a part of history that is often forgot. A very good movie to watch is called Selma. It came out in 2014. It can kind of give you an overview of why all these people are here today. Go ahead so you can get your picture. I know I'm tall. Can I ask him a question?
She want to ask you a question. Hold on.
What does this moment mean to you?
Awesome.
Awesome.
Like I just sleep.
Do you know what you're marching for? Do you know what you're
For Martin Luther King,
And what did Martin Luther King do?
he helped people stand up for each other.
And did you know what he did for this particular march? So when you're of age, you're able to vote. Because back then, blacks didn't have the right to vote. But now because of what Martin Luther King did, you will be able to vote. Yay! So that is why it is so important. This history is left out of our textbooks. It is left out of schools are not teaching this, and our young people don't know. And not just the black young people, but everybody should know. Everybody should know the history of all races, all colors. You got to know where you come from in order to move forward in unity. It brings a sense of compassion when you know what people have endured. Can I get a picture? I love your shirt. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You know, I was gonna bring out I'm on Facebook Live. I was gonna bring out the big wigs, but with all this chaos, organized chaos, I kept it simple. Oh, thank you so much.
Hey girl, let's get a picture.
Oh, okay. I'm E with the Palm Bluff commercial.
I can't see it. I hope it's it.
Make sure you find us on Palm Bluff commercial. And you Palm Bluff commercial at a Palm Bluff commercial at a Palm Bluff, Arkansas. Okay. Oh, my sisters, I have seen his star in me. This is beautiful right here. Oh, this is beautiful. Yes, it was a very awesome turnout, Evelyn. I would guess, but it wouldn't be accurate how many people are here today. Just a sea of people, just beautiful, walking together in harmony to commemorate this moment. Order of Eastern Stars, and they're white. Yes, Renee, you do have to vote. Very important that you exercise that right. We often think, especially as young people, that our vote doesn't matter. I hear that a lot. Oh, it's not gonna matter, it's not gonna matter. Your vote matters. Get out there and exercise your right to vote. Each other. That is what was recommended as you walk this bridge, just because it is so many people and you don't want to get lost in the crowd. A lot of people are linked arm in arm, which is what Martin Luther King and his followers did when they marched this very same bridge. All over are just basking in the moment. So I'm gonna keep my phone going live until my battery goes dead. This is concluding the weekend events that have been going on here in Selma. We've been here since Friday. We have visited the Legacy Museum as well as the Memorial Garden. Very heavy. The garden, in which I'll post pictures later on Facebook, the garden represented blacks who were lynched for various reasons, because, and remind you, these weren't slaves. These were just blacks who may have looked at a white woman wrong, or may have asked the wrong question, or may have walked on the side of the street that wasn't for blacks to walk on, and they were lynched. Each county was represented in that Memorial Garden. I saw Arkansas County, I saw Jefferson County, I saw Phillips County, I saw Pulaski County, and on those tombs were the names of the blacks who were lynched. There was a guy in DeWitt who was lynched. Just a very heavy feeling when we walked into that garden and into the museum. They didn't allow video or cameras in the museum because of just the sensitivity of all the information and all of the pictures. I mean, some of the pictures were graphic. There were burnings of black men being burned, men hanging from trees with the ropes around their neck. Just a very moving piece here in Montgomery, Alabama. That's where those two places are located at, in Montgomery, Alabama. I advise you to put those two places on your bucket list so you can experience it for yourself. The Legacy Museum and the Memorial Garden. And they are tagged in some of our posts that we put on Facebook. So you'll be able to scroll down our timeline and click, and that will take you straight to their pages. So we still have quite a bit more people that are coming to march. It looks like the last wave of people are preparing to come march. We did run into some more Pine Bluff natives who weren't with our group. Some former Pine Bluff High School students were here. And this man right here, his dress, him and the woman with him are dressed the way that the marchers were dressed when they marched. Except for one thing, those tennis shoes, they didn't wear tennis shoes. They had on church shoes, they had on high heels. When their feet started hurting, they took their shoes off. They marched barefoot over 4 days. 4 days. From Selma to Montgomery. And because of that march, the blacks are able to vote. And again, if you didn't see the beginning of our live, we were able to capture Martin Luther King III, who started the march off. Al Sharpton was here. Jesse Jackson was here. A lot of the presidential candidates were here also. So some of the people who started the march at the beginning are making their way back. Some of the foot soldiers are here today. I did have an opportunity to visit with a couple today. I'll be sharing those videos. I'll be posting those videos for you guys. I sure can. Yeah. Okay, so y'all need to get behind me. Okay. You know, a selfie means this. I got you. On three. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Got you. I did. You're welcome. My mother-in-law is calling me. She must not be following Pine Bluff commercial. I'm going to have to get on her. So here comes another wave of people. While I stand here in the middle, the sea of people. Yes, beautiful people. So So what they do for safety reasons, they kind of march in waves. Earlier, we were all standing on the bridge, and we had to move off the bridge due to safety reasons. So this looks like the last wave of people, last wave of marchers. Some are coming and some have already crossed and they're coming back. Deshaun! There goes our commissioner. That's who made this all possible. He is with the Arkansas Martin Luther King Commission, and he has organized Arkansas delegates to come to experience this firsthand. Out of Little Rock, that's who we are with, the Pine Bluff Commercial. We are with the Arkansas Martin Luther King Jr. Commission out of Little Rock. And again, you guys, this is a very surreal moment to be in the middle of the sea of people and just experience this in person. And I wanted to bring this to you live so you can get that same experience. For those of you guys who are just joining us, we are here commemorating Bloody Sunday. Martin Luther King and his followers organized a march on this very bridge so blacks could have the right to vote. They were met at the end of this bridge by white police officers, white state troopers who beat them, sprayed them with tear gas, all because they didn't want them to vote. But today, guys, what's so beautiful about it, there's nothing like that here anymore. People of all colors, all races, walking in unity, one voice, one sound. It's a beautiful thing today here in Selma, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it. Busy day today. Hey Jenny, we are here in Selma, Alabama. We are standing on the historic Edmund Pettus Bridge, where Martin Luther King Jr. and his followers marched so blacks could have the right to vote. If you're not familiar with the story, I recommend that you watch the movie Selma. Selma will kind of summarize why all these people are here today. But basically what happened when Martin Luther King and his followers marched this bridge, they were met at the end of the bridge by white police officers and white state troopers who beat them with billy clubs. They sprayed them with tear gas. They just tortured them, all because they didn't want them to vote. But 2 weeks later, Martin Luther King and his followers, they marched to Montgomery.
Someone called my name?
And because of the speech he gave on those steps, the Voters' Right Act was passed. The Voting Right Act was passed, which allowed blacks to vote. So all these people here are here to commemorate in Martin Luther King Jr.'s honor. And the main reason in the message that is coming across today, not just for blacks, but for everybody, exercise your right to vote. You may think your vote doesn't matter, but it does. Super Tuesday is coming up, so don't waste what your forefathers endured so you could vote. Can I see her sign? Thank you. One family is what they're chanting in English and in Spanish. One family, they're chanting. Looks like this is our last wave of marchers. This kind of ends the events of the weekend. So what they do after they march, they do a reverse march and they come back to downtown Selma and have a street festival. There's vendors set up down there, food, blocks and blocks of vendors, food, music, just fellowship and fun. All right, you guys, well, my screen has officially dimmed. That means I'll be losing you soon. But I was able to bring you this moment. If you didn't get to see it from the beginning, I'm going to go ahead and end this live. That way you can experience what I was able to experience here in person with the Martin Luther King Jr. Commission out of Little Rock, Arkansas. I thank you so much for joining us. So make sure you hit that follow, that like, and share, because we hope to bring you more moments like this in the future. Not just here, but in our own community of Pine Bluff, Jefferson County. Let us know what's going on. We want to know. We want to be more involved in the community. Email us, call us. If we can't be there in person, send us the stories. We want to highlight the goodness of what's going on in our very own backyard. Well, this is E signing out.